Uh-oh. Zack Snyder versus James Gunn has gone bonkers. Prepare to get shocked like Hassan Piker's dog on a live stream. Let's get into it. Zack Snyder has gone all in on promoting the Snyderverse and in doing so, broke the fandom. Many believe he and his followers are looking at this opportunity with WBD for sale as their last chance to restore the Snyderverse. The saga continued a week ago after a major Snyderverse event pushing for its return. Zack posted a photo of Jack Earl Haley holding a sign that says, "The end is nigh." Of course, this is from Watchmen, one of Zack Snyder's most popular films, but many took this as a message, literally. The end of the DCU is near, and this was a direct attack on James Gunn. It was a few days later that Zack Snyder caused a fracture in the Restore the Snyderverse movement. And look, these guys bicker about everything, so this is no surprise. But Zack Snyder liked a post about restoring the Snyderverse. And of course, this got analyzed like it was the FBI raiding Diddy's house. Before we move on, in a previous video, we discussed how Zack Snyder liking an image on Instagram comparing Man of Steel's box office numbers to Superman caused a whirlwind of controversy. So this is Zack Snyder, who without a doubt knows his likes are public and is still choosing to make a big move. And if you've been paying attention to Zack Snyder versus James Gunn, you may share the opinion that there is little doubt that Snyder wants to continue the Snyderverse. But the post he liked was interesting because it was pushing for an animated sequel. Of course, this caused a flood of controversy. There are those in the Restore the Snyderverse movement that just want a live-action film, no matter how old the actors are. Then there is a segment of the movement that wants to see the story told in an animated fashion. They either believe this is the most realistic path to finishing the story, or because it can be told despite how many years pass without altering the plot to fit their older ages. And in measuring how popular the Restore the Snyderverse movement is, Grace Randolph made a poll asking this question: do you guys want to see the Snyderverse back? Now, here's the thing about Grace Randolph. She is a sniveling coward who throws rocks at the entire industry, but cannot even handle a microcosm of criticisms herself. And as a result, she blocked half the fandom, including yours truly. She's like Alec Baldwin when asked about gun safety. She runs her Twitter like North Korea runs their internet. If you don't clap, you disappear. So I decided to make a poll. And despite Grace Randolph having more than 6 times my subscriber account, my poll had far more voters. Why? Because I didn't block anyone. Well, her poll was interesting nonetheless. With 19,000 people voting, 44% saying yes, they want to see the Snyderverse return. 42% said, let James Gunn cook. 5.8% said, give Gunn oversight. And 7.7 said third person oversight. Now, before I share my poll, I want to make one thing clear, and I have always said this. I think the studios are really dumb for not embracing multiple storylines at the same time. I don't think comic book audiences have a higher IQ than the general public, and guess what? They can understand multiple different timelines just fine. I think it's a huge mistake not to embrace a movie like Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire, directed by Sam Raimi. And in the same spirit, I see nothing wrong with finishing Zack Snyder's trilogy as an Elseworld story. Now, counterpoint to this, we needed a pandemic to teach people to wash their hands, so who knows. With that said, my poll had very different results. The largest Snyderverse poll on the internet that I'm aware of since Warner Brothers Discovery has been announced for sale. 39,000 votes. 62% of voters said no, we need to move forward. 20% saying restore the Snyderverse and end the DCU. And 15% saying continue as an Elseworld story. Add those up, and the Snyderverse movement in this poll is up to 35%. While I'm glad there is widespread support for James Gunn's DCU, it does make me a little sad how much the larger populace is ready to move on from this story, but hey, the people have spoken. Now, of course, this is just one internet poll, granted the largest Snyderverse poll on the internet. But hey, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. And then there was some sad news for those wanting the Snyderverse to continue. Credit to the friend of the channel, Film Junkie, for finding this gem. Larry Fong, Zack Snyder's longtime go-to cinematographer who worked on Batman v Superman, was asked if he spoke to Zack Snyder about Justice League 2 and 3. This was after he posted a video from Batman v Superman, and he said, although we talk regularly, no. Of course, Zack Snyder has been very busy filming wheat growing in slow motion. I'm kidding. He's filming the last photograph, which honestly looks incredible. Meanwhile, Superman spin-off Jimmy Olsen is full speed ahead with focus around a Flash and a Justice League villain, Gorilla Grodd. Somehow, some have interpreted this as the DCU only working on the Superman side of things, but if that was the case, the show would revolve around a Superman villain. Instead, they are using this show as a bridge to connect to the larger DCU. So a lot of news revolving around the DCU, Zack Snyder, James Gunn, and the future of Warner Brothers Discovery. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments.